to your first Solidworks video. Today we're going to start off with something simple, just sort of get the basics. I will show you around the program and we will just sort of go from there. So when you first open the program, this is what you're going to see, sort of this bar. It's going to have past documents. As you can see, I have some projects and stuff, all of my files here. But the things you have to worry about is what to do. So it's going to come to new, and you're going to hit part. And so this is going to open our first drawing window where we're going to create our first part. Just going to push that out of the way. Alright, so now we are in the SolidWorks interface. And so looking through here, we have this left bar here is going to show us every step we take. So as we go along, you'll see that moves along. Some key features here: they have set planes, so they have a front plane, top plane, and right plane, which you're going to use to build off of. Origin, obviously, so there's your origin. This is a three-dimensional software, so we have our little three-dimensional thing here, as you can see me highlighting. And then you don't really have to worry about too much else here for now. So yeah. That's sort of it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be making a die, excuse me, an actual loaded die. So it's going to have one side that's weighted. So we're sort of going to show you the steps of making two separate parts, and we are also going to make an assembly with those two parts. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go a little bit slow today, so if you have any experience with this software before or 3D modeling in general, bear with me, but I do think it's important to go over each of the features here. So the first thing we want to look at is this bar up here. You may have all of these same tabs as me, you may have some. The only ones that we'll be really using at the moment, and probably for most of your class, is going to be mostly sketch and feature. We might use evaluate a little bit, but that is definitely going to be one of the lesser things we use. One thing to mention, I always like to mention, before you start sketching, down here in the right hand corner you have your document units, and so this is going to be the default units, so you don't actually have to input these units. If you just put in a number when you're making dimensions, it is going to automatically go to these units. For this project, we're going to do the millimeter, grams, seconds. Of course, if you want to be working in standard units, or inch, pound, seconds. Largely in this course and set of videos, I will be using metric units, as they are a lot easier to understand and also more universal in their applications. But I believe there may be one video where I use standard units. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get started. Make sure that you are clicked onto this MMGS, millimeters, grams, seconds. You'll see it there. And let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to come up here and press the sketch button, and it's going to pull up these planes. And so we need to select, when you hit the sketch button, you need to select a plane on which to sketch on. To start off with, we're just going to do this top plane. So click on the top plane, it's going to pull you in here. So you can see this is highlighted, it says exit, that's meaning you're in the sketch function. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a square. And so we're going to come over here to this button that has a little rectangle on it. And if we click on this little drop down, we can see there's many different types. Each has their merits. Mostly throughout the videos I use center rectangle and corner rectangle. Right now we're going to start with center rectangle. These other ones you can play around with, but their functions are basically similar. So I'm going to do center rectangle, come here to the origin, which this is origin, two-dimensional origin, because sketches are in 2 dimensions. Come here where it snaps to this dot, click and drag. It's going to be a left click and drag, and we're just going to drag this out here. As you can see, you can also change the rectangle type while you're in here. We have no need to do that right now, but if you wanted to. There's also worth mentioning that for every single one of these functions here, there's a drop down menu for different functions. I'll go through these in different videos, but overall it's we'll just start with these for now. But if you have something that you're trying to do that the function using is not quite right for it, then we want to switch to something else. I don't know if you just saw, but as I was sort of pointing around, I was still in this rectangle function, and I clicked over here, and it just created a new rectangle, which I don't want. So if you're here and you don't want this, you can press escape and it'll bring you out of it. You can also, if you're in this, just press escape and it'll take you out of that function no matter what you're in. It won't take you out of the sketch, but it'll take you out of the function. So now the next important thing we're going to do is use the Smart Dimension tool. So this lets us dimension parts of sketches. So I'm going to click on this line here and pull it out. As you can see, the millimeters that we had set before are automatically there. I'm going to set this to 16 millimeters, and I'm going to do the same on this side and hit 16 millimeters. There we go, our sketch is fully defined. I'm actually going to go back for a second, so I'm just hitting Control Z. I'm going to delete that. As you can see here, so we have these two sides are black and the rest of these are blue. If a part of a sketch is blue, it means it's not completely defined, and so it's up to interpretation. But these two lines are black because the distance here is defined by the 16 millimeters that we set. So as you see, these are blue, these diagonal lines and these side lines, but as I come in here to create this side to be 16 millimeters as well, it's all defined now. So that is totally fine. When you're doing sketches in SolidWorks, you want everything to be totally defined, because if you change one thing, it might change a different dimension if it's not fully defined. So we want to keep that in mind. So I'm going to exit out of the Smart Dimension. I don't know if you just saw me rotate. If you hold down mouse 3, which if you do not know, mouse 3 is your scroll wheel on your mouse. If you just push that down, you can just, and hold it, push down and hold it, you can rotate it like this. It gives a three-dimensional view of it, which is very handy. So that's always so helpful. It's not really helpful for sketches since they're two-dimensional, but once we get further on, I'll show you. I'll do it more. I do it throughout the videos, but if you hold down that scroll wheel and rotate your mouse, it'll rotate with you. Another cool feature we have is if we go up here to view orientation, it creates this cube around our project, which will snap into place wherever we want. So if I want to go straight from the top, as you can see right here in the right-hand corner, the top right-hand corner there, it's going to show you this side, what we'll see from there. So if I go here, it's going to take us right to the top here. If I want to go at an angle, it'll take me to an angle. So that's also another helpful tool if you're trying to visualize something or see it from a different point of view. So I am going to come up here to exit sketch. So now we have our sketch here. This blue line, don't worry about this. This doesn't mean it's undefined or not fully defined, I mean. It just means that it is, there's no feature on it, it's just a sketch. So don't worry about that. Now we're going to go up here to the bar here and click on feature instead of sketch, and we're going to come up here to extrude base. And it's going to pull this up, this yellow block, which is going to sort of a preview of what's going to appear. You can drag this, of course. Since we're making a cube, you can just come over here, put the 16 in there, hit return or enter, and it'll bring that to what we want there. So yeah, there's also different things we can do here. I'm not going to go through every single function because I'll cover those in different videos, but generally there's other functions here, there's two directions, stuff like that. But anyways, we'll hit OK there for now, and there we go, we have our little cube. And as you can see, it's being added to this left-hand bar here. If you need to go in and edit that sketch, if you right-click on this boss extrude here, the sketch is embedded in here since we created a feature off of it. You can come up here to edit sketch, and I'll bring this up where we can see our sketch. We can edit these dimensions, exit out of that, right-click on this again, and we can edit feature, so we can change that extrude if we want to. And that's handy because as we go through the rest of this, as long as those things are fully defined and we build off of it, then we can actually change that without changing anything else in our project, which is very helpful if you find that you need to change a dimension after 3D printing something or something along those lines. Next thing we want to do is I actually want to smooth out these edges because dice don't have rigid edges, do they? So I'm going to come up here to the fillet tool. If we drop down, there's also a chamfer, but we're going to use the fillet, so just click on this. It's going to pull up this menu that asks items to fillet, and for this, you just want to click on edges. We're going to change this to 1mm. Right. And it's going to give you that preview, same as last time. But basically, I just want you to go around and click all of these edges. There we go. And so as we can see, that is a cube, and if we hit this check mark here, it's going to fillet those edges, making those smooth like a normal dice, which you don't want to be holding a sharp dice, obviously. And same thing with this one. If you want to come in here, edit feature, you can also change that. It won't show it there, but you know, you could change it to a different amount if you want that curvature to be more or less. Now, since this is a loaded dice, we need to hollow this out to make sure we can make this loaded. So we're going to come up here to shell, click on shell, and the face that we want to disappear is going to be the face we click on. Just like shell sounds, it's going to create a shell of the item. So the parameter is the thickness we want from here, which we want this to be 1mm. This one doesn't usually show a preview just because it's a more complex function, but if we hit that OK there, we can see we have a hollow box now. We can actually see this. Another feature we'll show here is section view, which I will show you here. This will sort of show you the inside of your object. I'll just hit that there, but that'll show you sort of halfway there. And if you come back up here and click this, it'll disappear. A cool thing about this is if you turn these, you can get an angle or rotate it down, stuff like that. So you can have a lot of different views to see inside if you're making a complex interior or something like that. So now what we need to do is we're going to create another plane to sort of make a lip on the inside for our top to grab onto. So I'm going to come up here to reference and plane, and it's going to ask for a reference. And for this, I'm going to reference off of that top plane that we started working on originally. I'm just going to put that dimension to 2mm. As you can see, that's going to be split by 2mm. And hit OK there. And as you can see, we sort of have a new plane here. So just like that first, the top, right, and front planes that we saw originally right here, this is basically another plane that we can create sketches off of, which is pretty cool. So now we need to create a little lip in here just for the other piece, the other face to snap into. So I'm going to create it off of the sketch. So what I want to do is go to sketch, sketch. It was actually already selected since I selected the plane, but I'll come back and not do that just so I can show you. So sketch, we want to select the plane, which is going to be our plane here. And now we're sort of in this weird place where we're not exactly like under it. So a cool feature we have is we right click on here on the plane, we can go normal to, which is going to take us to the wrong side, but you get the point. It'll take us basically to the looking directly down at it. So let's just go here and do this bottom piece. So now actually we're going to use the corner rectangle. I'm going to choose this corner down to this corner, and instead of just doing another corner rectangle to create the rest of the lip, I'm going to offset entities, and I'm going to offset it by 1, and it's on the outside, we want it on the inside, so I'm going to click this reverse button. There we go, perfect there. Hit the OK there, and as you can see, we have those two. They're fully defined because they're bounded. And we're going to come over here to features and extrude this. And that's way too much. 16 is way too much. We're just going to do this 0.5mm. And we can hit OK here, or check mark, OK. And as you can see, if you come over here, right click on this and hit the hide feature, it goes away. Let's actually pull up a section view. And as you can see, we have a nice little lip all set in there. Which is perfect for us to grab into. yeah. So now before we move on to the next part, make sure you come up here to save. Always helpful to save as final die 2 through 6, so we can save along the way. And last thing we need to do is we need to add numbers. So this is going to be as simple as creating sketches on each of these surfaces. Then here on the top, I want to come in here. This is going to be 6, because 1 will be on the other side. So let's go ahead, and we're in sketch already. I'm going to create a line this way. And hit escape, line this way. Now, cool thing here is if you right click on these lines and go to this construction, that's not actually going to be part of your sketch. It's just going to be a reference line, which is very helpful. So now I'm going to come up here to a circle, click anywhere really on this line, and just create a small circle. And we're going to leave that there. We're going to come up here to smart dimension, and we're going to make this 2.5. And we're going to make this between these two center dots. We're going to make this 3. Yeah, that looks good. So now a cool feature we have, I'm going to exit out of smart dimension, is this linear sketch pattern. So I'm going to go ahead, okay there. Now we need to create 5 more of these dots to make this the 6th side. So we are going to dimension this to be 3. There we go. So that's fully dimensioned now. We're going to come up here to this linear sketch pattern tool. So we're going to click on this. Our first direction, let's make the first direction. We have collected here. It says x-axis. So click on that. I'm going to click on this side line here. Y-axis, instead of y-axis, let's click on this line here. And entities to pattern is going to be the circle here. We want to click this over here. We want to create 2. We want this to be spaced out 6 millimeters. And we want this to be 2. We want this to be spaced out 3. Up, down there, 3 millimeters. There we go. Let's actually make that 6, just so that looks even. Obviously that doesn't look right, so let's make this 4. We'll make this 4. Actually, let's make these 5. Part of this is sort of just feeling out what looks right. And obviously this isn't centered now, so we're going to have to fix this. So for now, let's just hit OK. And we can come in here and change this dimension to 2.5. And there we go. That's going to be centered now. Okay, so now we have half of this, and we want to mirror these two to the other side. So if we click on mirror here, entities to mirror, we're going to click on these two, mirror about this line we created here, and there we go. And voila, we have all of our circles here. So now we can go ahead and here, extrude these, cut extrude these, and they're going to go down. We want them to go, we have 1 millimeter thick, so we can just do, let's do 0.4, and we're going to hit OK there, and there we go. And just like we did before, let's fillet these. We're going to make this 0.25, 0.125, there we go. And just click on all of these. You can click on the sides here and it'll get both of those edges. And we'll hit OK there, and there we go. It's as easy as that. So now let's go ahead and do the other sides. So 6, 1, we need to do 3, 4, and 2, 5. So let's do 5 next. Sketch here, sketch. And we are going to create just to make this easy. Diagonal lines here, and a diagonal line here. And right click on this, click construction, there we go. And I'm going to come straight into here, which will center us there. And let's go from here. So let's go there. And let's just put this one here and one here. So I'm going to dimension all of these to be 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and let's dimension these to be 5 and 5. Perfect. And similarly to what we did last time, we're going to mirror these, mirror this about that line. Come in here, delete that, mirror about that line. Click OK there. Same thing for this one. This arc mirrored about this line. We're going to hit OK there. And there we go. We can come out to feature, cut extrude. It's going to cut all of those, 0.4. Hit OK there. And we're going to fillet all of these again with the same dimensions because we want these circles to be similar. There we go. So as you can see, we have 6, we have 5. Let's go ahead and do 2. We're just doing opposites. Gonna come in here, sketch, come into this side, and we're gonna create a line here. Same as last time, just so we can get even dimensions here. And sketch, construction, right click construction, line, circle, dimension, 2.5. Smart dimension is still on. From here to the center point here, let's make that 4. And we are going to just mirror this across this line. Hit OK, featured, cut extrude. Hit OK there, fillet. I'm sort of moving fast through this because I want to get to the other part and not make this video too long for you guys. So if you get the hang of this, you can work on it on your own. We can meet up later. 2, 5. Now we just have 3, 4. So let's go to sketch again. Come in here. So for 3, it's all along a line. And we are going to do another line here, same as always. Construction, construction, circle, center point. And for this one, we can just do this. Dimension 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And we will just dimension these away from each other. Let's do 5. Oh, it's not 5. So basically from this you can see there's many different ways to do the same thing. You can use the mirror, you can do things this way, you can cut extrude, same way as we normally do. We're going to do the edge. There we go, that edge, okay there, 3, and the last one we have on this part is 4. So let's go from here. Let's create these lines. Diagonal lines are very helpful when you're doing anything on a square because it helps to center everything. Hit construction. Hit construction. And we are going to come in here and we are going to this, and as you can see, if that dotted line appears, it means it's going to be constrained by one another. So we want that dotted line between the two. So here we're going to make this 2.5, 2.5. What I mean by that is as we let's make that 4.5. And this one 4.5. It would give me the center one. Okay. 4.5. There we go. And then let's just mirror these to save time. And okay there. Mirror that arc. Click and mirror about. Here. Hit OK there. Features, extrude. Hit OK there. Put 2, 3, 4. There we go. Awesome. So now that is going to be the first part of this project. Hit that save button like we did before. Now we need to make this other face. So we're going to come up here to new, hit new. It's going to ask part assembly drawing. We're going to make up another part, hit OK there. We're going to open another part just like we had last time. I'm going to create another sketch on the top plane with a center point rectangle. This time, since it's inserting into the other one, the dimensions are a little bit different. So bear with me. This is going to be 13.8 and 13.8. These are the ones that fit. You can trust my dimensions or not. These are the ones that I came up with that come out well. Hit OK there. Features, we're going to extrude this base. We're going to actually extrude this 1.85 and hit OK there. Perfect. So now we have our starting block here, and we need to make little clips to go along inside of to connect to the inside there, that little lip that we made. So to do this, we're going to come up here to sketch. If you click back here, we're going to go to this front plane, because this is going to create sort of in the center there. It's hard to see here, but it's going to go halfway here, as you can see where the origin is. But we're going to come down to this side so we can have a flat view looking at it. I'm going to work off of this side. So for this, we can just sort of make a rough sketch with a drawing here. So I'm going to come up here, over here, down here, down here, over here, and of course we need to close it. And hit OK there. The nice thing about this is that now from here we can use that smart dimension function to sort of go through this. So this side is going to be from the edge here. This is going to be 1 millimeter. We're just going to pull that in a little bit. I actually have to do this a different way because we want this to be fully defined. We're going to go from this side to this side. It helps if you click on smart dimension. This side to this side is going to be 0.3. This length right here is going to be 0.7. This height right here is going to be 0.3 as well. And the length here is going to be 0.15. Let's Control Z that. I'm going to smart dimension. If we click these two lines here, it's going to create an angle here. And we want this angle to be 45. Now we can come in here and do 0.15. And that's going to create the little shape there. And lastly, we can come back to this dimension, make this 1. That's going to pull it in. And as you can see, we have all of those dimensions there. I sort of skip past this really quick, but if you click on these 2 lines in the Smart Dimension tool, you can create an angle. So if you do 2 lines that are joined at a vertex, you can create an angle there. Anyways, there we go. That is looking pretty good to me. Last thing we need to do here is we need to actually just create a line from the origin going straight up. Right click on that, we're going to make that a construction line. Because, and just bear with me, I'm going to exit that for now. We're going to have features, extrude, and as you can see it pulls it out this way. We're actually going to do two directions here. We're going to do 0.125 and 0.125. As you can see, that creates a little latch there. Let's widen that a little bit. 0.25. 0.25. There we go. That's a little bit better. We'll hit OK there, and there we go. There's our little bracket there. So now that we have our singular bracket here, we want to create a circular pattern around here. Instead of doing that inside a sketch, we're going to do that with a feature now. If we come over here, hit this arrow down here, right click on the sketch, we want to show this because this is what this line's for. We're going to come up here to linear pattern, hit the drop down menu, hit circular pattern. We're going to zoom in here, just click on one of these sides, it's going to copy that whole extrude as you see. Come up here to direction, we're going to click this middle line, this construction line we made, and you can see the preview here. And it's 4, we can make 5, we want 4 just to be even, hit OK there, and there we go. So that's looking pretty good. So the last few things we want to do, we need to make this weighted. So I'm going to sketch in here on this plane here. I'm going to come up to the top here, create a circle. I'm going to create 2 circles actually. Smart Dimension, I'm going to make this one 10, and this one, let's make this one 8. There we go. Now all I'm going to do is extrude this, and I'm just going to pull this up to what looks good. Let's just make this 3 millimeters. So now in class, whenever you guys make these, you can just plop whatever you want in here, glue in a little weight or something like that. And yeah, so that's going to be the weighted part right there. Last thing we need to do is we need to create the marking on here, the 1. So our origin's already there. We're going to come up to circle after creating that sketch. 1 is direct in the middle, so we don't need to do any fancy lines or anything like that. Come back here to feature, extrude cut. We're going to do this 0.4 like we did the others. Hit OK there. Fillet this inside there. Close. So this is 10. We need this to be 0.125. Hit OK there, and there we go. So that is our bottom piece there. So as we can see, we have our 2 pieces here. And the cool thing about Solidworks, after we go ahead and save this, final die 1, save that, is we can put them together actually inside of this program. So let's come over here to new once again, but we're going to create assembly. We're going to hit OK here, and it's going to open this new window. So assemblies are a little bit different as this loads in for me. On the side you'll see the other open documents you have, which are the 2x6, which we'll click here. You can drag and place anywhere, and it doesn't really matter for now where we place it. And now we can come in here to our assembly. This is going to be fixed. We can insert component, which are final die 1. which we can just place here. Doesn't matter too much, we can actually move this one wherever we want, and we want this to actually slide in. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to use mates. So come up here, click mates. We don't need to especially understand, actually exit out of that because I don't want to have that selected. I will go into more detail about mates sooner rather than later, but just bear with me for now. It's a little bit more complex. So we're going to come here, hit this surface as our first selection, hit this as our second selection. As you can see, it's coincident, so that's going to make it sort of even there, which is fine for now. We actually don't want that to do that. Let's do distance here, and we're just going to put 0. Let's get a little bit wiggle room, so 0.1. So a little bit off. Hit OK there. As you can see, it's sort of inside of there, which is not great, for obvious reasons. So we're just going to continue making mates. I'm going to make a mate along this side, which is going to push it there with the coincident. So I'm going to change this to this, 3.1, which may be, that's good enough. Hit OK there. You'll stay in the mate function until you hit this again while you don't have anything selected. And we'll do this last side here and do 0.1 and hit OK there. As you can see, our shape sort of just slid in there. I'm going to hit OK on that mate again, and I'm going to do the section view like we did before. Pull this over, hit OK there. And as you can see, we have our brackets, our little brackets holding that in. And so, yeah, and you can see the inside here. But that is your introductory to SolidWorks video. Hopefully I was pretty clear with the understanding of the basic concepts and ways to use SolidWorks and its tools. Don't worry if this was fast or slow for you. I will go into more detail on various things as we work through the rest of these projects. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you had fun with it. I will see you in the next video.